David, if the legislature were to honor the timeout, which would take us beyond the normal length of this session, barring a special session, that takes us into 2011.
Correct.
Last year, we got scenarios from the company in March that said if approval of continued operation by the board was delayed to April 2011, the company would have passed, quote, a point of no return for operation of the plant beyond March 21st, 2012. Their case for 2009 listed 12 major projects that they wanted to start on and have the decision be made last year, all of which were more than $500,000, some of which I think the condenser, 100 million I think the estimate for. Then I had just not read until just now the comments of the president that the company's not profitable. My question is, are we going to make it to 2012 given these? And what are the possibilities that they're not even going to come out of the shutdown in the spring this year? Or are we just going to get a whole new story about, well, we didn't mean to do that, we didn't really mean point of no return, we're going to reshuffle the deck now and go from there?
Well, I think that from the company's perspective and from our perspective, this, the more time in advance you sort this out and decide, the better for both sides. From our perspective, I mean, I would say that having a contracted or very narrow amount of time is less than ideal for us, and it's less than ideal for them. On their side, it's logistics and capital commitments. On our side, it's where's our power going to come from, and some very real issues about where people are employed and what have you. I think you're going to have to ask them what the logistical considerations would be. We're not making a determination about a timeout with that in mind. In other words, that's just going to have to sort itself out. We recognize this is a decision that can't be made as we sit here today. The company's going to have to simply answer that. I know they've had these sorts of scenarios before. I'm familiar with them. My guess is that they, put that information out there in the hopes that that would be a consideration that would get to a decision. They would have rather had a decision sooner. I imagine, like anything else, you can revisit your assumptions and figure out a way. I don't know the answer to that question. We actually didn't stop and think a whole lot about it, to be honest, because certain things trump those considerations. And, the consideration that it might inconvenience Entergy by having to wait longer wasn't really on our mind.
Kurt? Commissioner, I know what you said last week, what the administration said in regards to, as Ken just mentioned, the timeout, et cetera, and things that they need to do. But today, again, you indicated that Entergy does not get it as of today. You say that Entergy does not get it. They haven't earned our vote, and it would be miraculous, I think you said, for them to regain our trust.
They'd have to do something miraculous.
Or they have to do something. Have you, since last week, and since the step that they took, which was the reassigning of one person to be a public relations, have you and the administration made clear to them in the last day or two with the steps they've taken that this is not getting it done and that you've got to do a whole lot more here?
Well, the answer to that is yes. Although, at some point you have to wonder what else do you need to say. I don't think that I don't think this is like some things that you purchase and you get out the directions and you're kind of confused about how to put slot A into pole B or whatever it is. I don't think there's been anything ambiguous about what we said, and I think that this company should be more than capable of discerning what we mean and what we're looking for. And we believe that we'll know whether they're serious or not by what actions they take.
For me, one of many things, not that there's only one, but I'd like to see Entergy officials come before this committee and take questions.
Okay, I think we'll have them in.
You would think they'd want to.
You think they'd want to?
Yes.
Commissioner, from watching this whole thing unfold, I don't see what they can do to change Vermonters' minds at this time, and we're mindful that we're only going to be in session for a few more months, and
I thought you were gonna say
and so
peace.
what's that?
Don't get your hopes up.
I would ask you to maintain your position of no support. I would ask you to I would ask you to pull your support for the Inexus reorganization. And I would further state that from my opinion, that if you, our regulators, don't do the job that I think Vermonters are looking for right now, I think the legislature has no choice but to do it in a vote before we leave for the summer.
That's your choice. From our perspective, again, we think that there are very real reasons to leave our options open to the degree that we can. The governor has instructed me, as you know, and we are putting a hold or a stay on the eNexus transaction. I understand. I've paid attention to your comments and others about the eNexus transaction, and I realize there is broad sort of uneasiness about that transaction. I understand that. I wasn't certainly in my role as commissioner or our department's role looking for this transaction. The notion of extending the license and matters related to decommissioning and power supply were probably enough to address or consider. This was the company's choice, and I would only want to see, my only way to sort of look at eNexus is to address it in the manner of balancing out all of the variables. And, that's all being revisited now based on what we've already said and what we're doing. And, whether it's eNexus or it's extending the operation of the plant, I think dramatic changes with the owner, it may be a moot point. So, that's how we see it. And I just, for the committees,
Well,
in
I'm
about
gonna-
5 minutes, I need to go.
Well,
But,
I'm gonna let you go now. I really, really want to thank you for being here. I think this is one of the healthiest discussions that we have had in quite a while. We do appreciate you and your staff being here and being absolutely forthright with us. And I think that we have learned quite a bit this morning, and I hope that you've learned from us as well.
I have, and I really appreciate the opportunity. As I said, when it comes to 589, if there's a path where we can be in alignment, that would be great. I think that it certainly feels to me, and in my conversations with the leadership of late, and the governor's conversations with the leadership, it sure feels to me like a time where some of our usual differences, seem sort of, insignificant in comparison to sort of, we're all end up being Vermonters here.
Yep.
For sure. And I want the committee, I hope it's clear from our perspective why we continue to look at Vermont Yankee a certain way. And I say that specifically Vermont Yankee. And the owner has got a lot of work to do.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're done till after the 4th.